Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, whatever time it is for you right now. Just know that you are locked in on Fun Facts
Fun facts,
with
notes.
and the King. You guys know what to do. Go find us out there, all across social media. Notes, my man. How you doing today, brother?
I'm doing good, man. I'm feeling it.
Can you tell the people where they can find you if you want to be found?
Yeah, I'm pretty off the grid these days, but notes from dystopia on Instagram and Twitter. If you want to
Alrighty.
expose the Illuminati, you want to get the secret behind the scenes, you got it.
You already know what it is. You guys can find me at King Hussein on Instagram. Ladies, yes, I am single. This ring is just there for the fun of it. Um,
Keeps the
you can
cougars
find
away.
me at To The Point, right? I'm the king on there for your basketball and your Raptors needs. You can find me on that podcast. So, notes, bro. This is our second episode. We didn't get
Yeah,
canceled.
yeah, we're back. Another pants-free episode.
Gotta love Zoom, don't you?
So,
Gotta love it.
sorry, did I say I meant hands-free? I meant hands-free.
What hands? I don't know. Um, yo, this is really fun, and we trying to keep it fun for you guys. I'm enjoying it. I'm loving this. So, notes, man. Last time I hit you with something crazy to start off the show, but I would like to
Did
hear. Yeah, I know it was nuts, but I would like to hear what fun fact you have for me.
Yeah, we're gonna get back to your fact from the other show, but
Oh,
first we're gonna keep it light.
okay.
I got a fun fact for you. Did you know the term Jiffy, as in a jiffy, has a scientific definition?
Wait, what? I thought we were looking at a GIF or GIF or whatever
No, I'm
online.
not talking about the
Oh,
image standard. The term like I'll be back in a jiff. Let's
I had no,
Jiffy lube.
yeah. So is that a term for a measurement of time where it can be quick? Is that's what I would perceive it as?
And again, you're really quite on the money there. You know,
Oh,
it started out as a slang term. Obviously, it's a very old term. It goes back to the 17th century. Some think it was originally referred to lightning. Was an old slang word for lightning, but that lent the idea of quickness to its modern usage. But it was given a technical definition in the 19th century. It is the measurement. It's the amount of time it takes a particle of light to travel 1 centimeter in a vacuum. So the amount of time it takes a photon to travel 1 centimeter in a vacuum is one jiffy.
whoa. So what if it like okay, so if okay, thank you for blowing my mind. Um, but if my question to you now is if there were to be multiple jiffies, what would we call it? Because like uh kilograms, tons, like you know what I mean? Like
I
pounds,
see what you're saying. Like
right? Like what would be the measurement? Like, okay, basically
hexajiff,
for
a
you guys out
kilojiff.
there, millimeters, centimeters, meters, you know, like what would be multiple?
Well, because it's not a measurement of distance but time. I believe it's singular in that sense
Well, you know
because
I did.
it's
Well, I did,
specifically the measurement of 1 second.
dude. I did the Kessel run in multiple in 12 parsecs. But go on.
I mean, that's an amazing feat in itself of computational engineering. I mean, you go too close to a supernova and you're done. So I don't think it's a great question, but I don't think there's a multiple factor. I don't think there's a hexagif or a megagif or whatever because it's specifically the measurement of 1 second.
So you're basically telling me it's like you're educating me and the people out there. So it's like there is no term for multiple molecules, but you will call it a molecule,
Yeah,
right? In that sense?
a particle of light is a photon, and they do all these crazy experiments in vacuums, trying to see how quickly light. That's how they measure the speed of light.
Holy crap. What was the speed of
Uh,
light again? What was it? Two point shoot, I don't remember off the top of my head. Um, but the speed of light is actually like amazing when because us as human beings perceiving light and visuals, it does take some time, which I found out to be pretty crazy that as it's happening, it's not really happening in your head at
right.
that
Like
exact
they
same
say, the
time.
light from the sun takes 8 seconds to hit your eyes.
Yeah, that's
So I think it's
nuts.
I'm just pulling this out off the top of my head, but I think it's 180,000 kilometers a second
Okay,
is the speed of light.
damn. That's nuts, man.
Yeah.
Holy crap. You just blew my mind. Did he blow you guys' minds out there? Seriously.
Don't forget to click the link.
Yeah, click the link and stop for a second and just think about it. Let's do that. No. Notes. Apparently you got something else to hit me up with that I'm not aware of, and I'm ready to be just as astounded as the rest of the viewers out there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they told us when we were kids in school, like when you look at the stars, I mean, you're seeing light that's like hundreds and hundreds of years old. And if a star exploded, by the time we see it, it's long gone, long gone.
Yeah, it's also like when they talk about the measurement of light years,
Yeah.
right? Something being light years away. It's that measurement, I guess that comes from what you're talking about with the photons.
Yeah.
That,
How long
that
it takes light to travel the amount of distance light travels in 1 year.
yeah, like you just said, you see a star. You know
Yeah.
what? You see the star now, but that star might not actually physically be there by now,
Yeah.
right? Because it's taken so many light years to get here for us to perceive it.
Yeah.
Wow, man. Holy
Yeah,
crap.
it's easy to get lost in the vastness of the universe, and it's very, very hard to accurately sort of imagine how impossibly vast the universe is. And we don't often want to, because of the sort of ego destroying nature of realizing how tiny and well, I mean, it could make you feel insignificant. I don't know if you ever read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but
Yeah.
that was one of the tortures they had, where you went into this booth and it showed you exactly where you were in relation to the entire universe and how infinitesimally small and unimportant you were to the grand scheme of things.
Wow. So they
Of
got a
course, it
bunch.
didn't apply to Zaphod Beeblebrox because he realized that he was the center of the universe, and it all worked out pretty well for him.
That's a funny joke. I tell people sometimes, "Wow, I gotta go rewrite all my science books because I thought you were the center of the universe." Hmm, didn't know.
And in an infinite universe, any point could be the center. So you could very well be the center of the universe.
You know what? I think us as human beings, I think we each individual, like you just alluded to, you just sparked something in my head. Like, I think to each of us that we are the center of our own universe, and our universe is created from what we perceive. Like we just spoke about the photons and
Yeah.
how we see things light years away. So maybe based on how we as an individual see things, maybe we are the center of our own individual universe. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that,
We're,
man?
we're getting into like what a lot of the early philosophers tackled and what they tackled in Buddhism. But basically, the idea is, the world is nothing but an illusion that we create, that our own ego is creating for ourselves. So of course we perceive ourselves as the center of everything, because we're the ones perceiving it. If you've played any video games, I don't know, when you're doing a first person perspective type game, you're looking around. The game doesn't render the entire universe. So, for example, if you're looking forward, the game isn't wasting any resources rendering what's behind you. It doesn't render it until you look that way.
Mm-hmm.
That's one way they save on the memory. So, in a sense, things don't exist until you look at them, and that kind of ties into a lot of the Buddhist sort of philosophy, where the perception of the object is the idea itself. Is this a bowl? I perceive it as a bowl, but is it really a bowl? Does it really exist, or am I just perceiving it to exist?
I
And
like
the Greeks tackled these issues as well.
I like that
And they're
reference, like in the Matrix. There is no spoon.
Yeah, well, The Matrix is a fairly elegant retelling of a story from Plato called Plato's Cave.
Okay. What?
In
Okay,
what
explain that.
Well, Plato tried to create an analogy for how we perceive the universe. There's a bunch of figures, and again, forgive me if I'm misremembering this, but there's a bunch of figures sitting in a cave, and behind them there's candles that are creating a projection,
Mm-hmm.
and there's all sorts of people, sort of like shadow puppetry going on. Now, they can't see the people making the shadows; they're only perceiving the shadows themselves. And the real world is out there. If they leave the cave, the real world is there, but they're too entranced with the shadows on the wall. So it's reality like three times removed, in a sense. And again, people are still arguing about what it truly means, but that's kind of what it boils down to. What we see and what we think we see isn't what it really is. It's our perception of it.
Perception. Yes, thank you. That's the word, brother. Whoa. But like before we get out of here, when it
Yeah.
thank you for educating me, myself, and everybody out there. Um, when it comes down to perception, do you think that is not just what we see, but what we take in and formulate in our own brains?
Well, I mean, absolutely. We look at everything with a preconception,
Ah, there we go.
especially as you get older, you start to see what you want to see. And that's why magic and illusion works so well, because you can't trust your own senses. You can be very, very easily tricked. And especially with expectation of wanting to see a certain outcome, it's very easy to fool people in that regard. So we rely on our senses for very good reasons, but they can be easily tricked and misled that way as well. And so there has to be something, deeper within us through which we can perceive the universe, and people talk about things like the truth and all that. But, what is the true nature of reality is an argument that will continue to go on. And are we actually even capable of perceiving it? We
Hmm.
use the scientific method to try and break it down to its components, to understand how light works, to understand how sound works. And they say that vibration is what creates the matter of the universe itself. Everything's vibrating at different intensities. So when you start to get into that stuff, it gets a little esoteric very quickly and hard to understand. But I believe it was St. Paul who said, we perceive the universe through a darkened mirror. We're not seeing it as it truly is. We're seeing a bit of it, and we're sort of extrapolating what we think we see, like the blind men touching an elephant. The one guy's got the tail, and he's like, I think it's a snake. And the other guy's got the trunk, and he's like, no, it's definitely a rhinoceros. And you know,
Yeah. And then
we
the other
we
guy's
perceive
got
this world dimly, and we're working with the best tools we have. But
That shoot. Okay. I want to get a little bit further into this. I know we're running out of time, but I want
yeah,
to get a little bit further into this. Like, do you think that is because people want to think something and in their perception? Do you think that's a drive based on their own personal emotions and what they expect? Like you just hit it with like you touch the tail,
yeah,
it's snake, you touch the
we
trunk,
all
it's
got a
this.
piece of it.
You yeah, it depends on what you perceive because I know as a fact from there's two types of thinkers in this world. There is the scope thinkers and then there's the massive thinkers, right? Where, like, for example, you look at a painting, somebody can look at it. There's very few of us, like yourself and myself, that can look at the whole thing and see everything. But there's some people that can only focus on one area, right? And to them,
Hmm.
that's what it is. Do you think it's what they want emotionally? Like, forget about the brains and the sensory perspective, but do you think that's what they want emotionally?
Well, I think what we want emotionally is the universe is so vast and unpredictable. Life is just a big, messy, complicated, dangerous thing. We want to think that we have some handle on it,
Yeah.
that we can. We want to think that there's some sort of predictability, that we've got a good grasp of how things work, that allows us to go about our tasks in our daily life much more efficiently. If you're constantly just being overwhelmed by the chaos, you're not going to be very productive. You're not going to get anything done. So we've got to kind of be able to block out a lot of stuff, and that's some of the problems with autism is they can't block things out. And we have to kind of lie to ourselves that we've got a pretty good handle on things. When Socrates was famous for saying, the only thing I know is that I know nothing. you know and that's the beginning of knowledge. Just
So
and
it's a sense of like security for a regular for all of us human beings, right?
it's
To
it's
get a handle.
paralyzing to try and conceive of the vastness and unpredictability of the universe. It's paralyzing. You can't get your pants on and go hunt some wild boar.
Yeah.
or whatever you do in the course of your day.
I don't need pork, but I do have a high sensory input, and it's kind of like sometimes overwhelming because I don't have the grasp, like you just said. Like
Yeah.
I don't have the grasp. I know I can have my head down and know that two people are walking their dog that way. That person's in a relationship and arguing with with their friend, and they're all outside of my apartment while I'm working. You
Yeah.
know, I get that, man, and sometimes it's very hard for us mentally. And you just said it that we got to kind of close it in.
Put your blinders on and focus.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's some really sound advice for a lot of people out there, and I'm a product of it. Yeah, man. Notes, you're killing it today, bro.
I don't know how fun these facts were, but
Well, we started off with a fun fact. We'll have more facts, but we'll
yeah.
dive deep into them and actually have some extremely great conversations for you ladies and gentlemen out there, wherever you are. Hopefully you guys enjoy this and maybe you can be, I don't know, educated a little bit more. I don't know, maybe you can educate us, like in the comments, let us know what you think. Yeah, you guys can tell me I'm an a-hole and all that and go kill myself like I've been told before. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
Tell me what I got wrong, because I was just kind of pulling stuff out of the thin air.
Yeah. Magician with the illusion, art of illusion. That's what I'm talking about, my man. So, notes, you got anything left to say to the lovely ladies and gentlemen, the viewers out there that are
just,
spending their time with us?
just thanks for watching, man. Thanks for watching.
And thanks for being part of it. Right. So I'm just gonna hit it up at the end right here, right? Because shoot, man, you just blew my mind. I gotta go You just Kurt Cobain me.
Okay, well, Don't call it quits just yet.
Yeah, don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be back. I'll resurrect from the dead. It's all in your perception.
Whoa.
So, on behalf of myself and the one and only Notes, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night, and
Peace.